Okay, so now we're going to shift gears. We kind of had our hygiene discussion. So that was prevention, right? That was maintaining, right? Part of our mission statement is to maintain and prevent. So now we're going to move into prevention. So now we're going to talk to doctors a little bit more. So you guys can kind of see how we'll practice. I mean, they're going to practice, I don't want to practice, but just some general things. So again, a dentist is a person who is skilled, licensed, and qualified in the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of oral diseases and conditions that affect the teeth, gums, especially the repair and extraction of teeth and their replacement with artificial ones. So there's your dentist. Okay. So missing teeth. Let's talk about this. This is one of my favorite slides. Not really, but there's a ton of opportunity here. So on average, 22% of Americans over 65 have all of their teeth missing. Almost, so a fifth, a little over a fifth. 21% for New Mexico, we have some practices there, so people have less teeth there. 42% for West Virginia.
Yeah, that was out in Tennessee too. The South is horrible.
So on average, another 30% over 65 have half of their teeth missing. So really, if you put this together in this, you got 50% of the population base over 65 who have half or all their teeth missing. That's a hell of a lot of missing in a first world country. But they don't get there, guys, unless dentists aren't doing a good enough job. I'm sorry, but I own that personally. And I think it is a profession. I think it's our responsibility to do better. And the only way you do better is by super good prevention early on and education, right? That's the only way we're going to change that metric, okay? The second one here, of every 100 cavities diagnosed, only 34 are actually filled, and half the population still has periodontal disease. Why? Number one, I think there's many reasons. Number one, we're afraid to educate and help patients want necessary dentistry. We're afraid to tell them and tell them to spend their money on their teeth. We get hesitant. It makes us nervous. We don't like rejection. So dentists shy away from telling patients what they should do. So we can do better. We're going to use a camera and TV photos. They dramatically improve case acceptance. So up here, let's go back to this for just a second. Of the 100 cavities diagnosed, only 34 are actually filled. A third of them are actually done. So do we need to focus on diagnosing more? Would diagnosing more be a good solution if that's the case? If we diagnose more and we're only getting a third case acceptance, diagnosing more, sure, it may help a little bit, but not really, right? Education, right? Hi, Jess. How are you?
Hi.
This is Jessica Rodriguez.
Hi.
There's a name tag over there, Jess. You can put your name on it.
Perfect.
She's going to help us out with cameras and photos and different things in a little while. She's after lunch. She just likes wildflowers, so she came early. So, if really, guys, the solution here is better case presentation. Okay, if we diagnose 100, but only a third of those are being accepted, it's because patients don't see value in what we're diagnosing. They don't see value, and it doesn't hurt. Why should I fix it? I don't understand. You know what I mean? I don't care. It's not bugging me. It's an interproximal cavity. I can't see it. I can't feel it. I just don't care. I'm not going to fix it, right? So we have to change how we present treatment and how we talk about dentistry to our patients if we want to change that. So it's sales. It's how you present treatment, okay? And when I say sales, I don't, everybody, does that make people uncomfortable when I sell dentistry?
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
So sales is nothing more. I'm going to try and help you. I'm going to try and overcome that objection here if I can. Sales is nothing more than communication with a purpose. So, for example, my daughter, she wants to be, she wanted to go to beauty school and she wanted to cut hair, but I knew she was way too smart for that. Not that anything's wrong with being a beautician or a cosmetologist. I'm not against that, but I wanted more for her. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know, but I did. And so I said, Eden, I think you should go to college and you should get a 4-year degree and maybe try something else. And she said, okay, well, maybe med school. And I said, yeah, that'd be a lot better than being a cosmetologist, okay? So I sold her on the idea of going to med school, okay? It's communication with a purpose. Selling is nothing more than communication with a purpose. So I tried to communicate to her why. I tried to encourage her to go to school because I knew that she wouldn't be as happy being a cosmetologist as she will be down the road being a doctor. She'll be happy she got the education, because I know it's best for her, right? Anybody have a teenage son or daughter?
Of course.
Anybody? Okay, well, next time when you do, and they come to you and they say, Dad, can I take the truck to go with my friends and I'll wash it and I'll put gas in it and I'll do all these things? All they're doing is selling. They're selling you on the idea that you should let them take the truck so that they can use the truck, and they're just selling you on the idea of driving your truck, right? Next time you want to go on vacation with your wife and you're trying to convince her that you want to go to Germany because you like to drive on the Autobahn, but she'd rather go to Cancun because she likes to play on the beach, you're trying to convince her to go to why Germany's so much better. That's selling. It's communication with a purpose. That's all selling is, okay? Selling drugs is bad, right? If you're selling things that are not good, then that's bad. So if you're diagnosing treatment that doesn't need to be done, then selling that would be bad. But diagnosing treatment that's necessary, right, and helping patients complete that treatment, that's okay. That's good. So we only buy what we're sold. Humans just don't buy things that they're not sold. You walk in the Apple store and you've got to see all the cool stuff and why it does everything you want it to do, and that's what makes you want to buy it. We're afraid too often to help patients accept dentistry that's in their best interest. But unfortunately, that involves communication with a purpose. It involves convincing them that it's better for them to spend $2,000 on a tooth than to go on that trip to Vegas, right? Do you guys think that a weekend trip to Vegas will offer that person as much long-term well-being in their life and satisfaction, spending it on gambling, except for somebody who doesn't gamble, and food and whatever, than doing a build-up and a crown on that tooth would be for them? So is it okay to try and convince them that that would be in their best interest? I think it is. I think that's okay. So I know I'm cautious with that term because I don't want to scare you guys with selling dentistry, but I think it's an unrealistic fear, and unless we do better at facilitating case acceptance, if you don't like the word selling, let's just call it facilitating case acceptance, right?
And really all you're doing is educating them.
Yeah.
And creating value in best treatment, right? Mm-hmm. And why it's the best treatment. If you educate them properly, they'll choose that, or they'll have a greater likelihood of choosing that, right? That is selling, or that is communicating with a purpose, right?
Yeah, right. So I get that it's common, and I don't want to come across as this guy that wants to, by nature of who I am in my position, everything thinks I just want to prove all this dentistry and I'm just money focused. But that's not the case. If you're good at if you guys are good at what you do and you provide good care to patients, that just comes, right? It's secondary. It just comes. All right, so let's go to the next one here. So there's a few things that really communicate to patients well in the way you talk to patients. And so these are the things that I would focus on, doctors. They need a DO on 3 and an MO on 4, and they've got a cervical lesion on 12, and they need a class 5 on 6, and whatever, right? And they got an interproximal over here. And there's no value created there. They're just staring, they don't know what's going on. You're speaking Greek. They have no concept of what you're even saying, right? And then they go up and then they go, okay, Bob, thank you. And Bob goes up front and talks to Raquel. Raquel's trying to get the guy to schedule an appointment. And Bob's like, well, I don't even know why. I don't know. He said I need an MO and a DO, and I don't know what the heck he was talking about.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Sometimes the surfaces are correct, and you're
Right.
like, okay, then you go back.
So we don't think about it because we get so ingrained in our daily activities. We only see the world through our lens, right? And we just kind of are in a hurry and to get our jobs done. And the experience there for the patient is terrible. It's not conducive to buying. Could you imagine if Apple said, buy the iPhone 10, I'm not going to tell you anything about it, just buy it. No, you're not going to do that, right? Consumers need to understand what they're buying and why. So you have to engage them in the process more. Dentists are pretty generally poor salesmen. Our case acceptance of 33% across the country, it's only about a third of what's ever diagnosed gets accepted. Verbiage is generally poor. So we have to create an environment that's conducive to buying, and a picture is worth 1,000 words. So there's your traditional exam, and the patients go home with this in mind, right? So that's what they leave, and they're like, wow, the guys, I can't tell you how many, their nose hairs are hanging out, their ear hairs are hanging out, and it's like, that's a reflection of the care that you offered, right? They look like bums, they're dressed like bums, they have hair coming out, and they're like, that's not clean, that's not what patients like to see, right? So we have to do a better job of that. So we're going to talk about the Comp Exam version 2.0, a patient-centered experience. So we take full arch photos with the camera. Jess just brought that, so we're gonna work with you guys on that. We'll probably have to do it right here with this TV, because we don't have TVs back there yet. We have some TVs, right? In there?
They're small ones.
Can you plug an HDMI cable? If they have an HDMI cable, then we'll be able to do it. If not, we'll have to do it up here. So, do you guys have intraoral cameras, like single?
Oh, the computer monitors, you can plug it into the
Okay.
computer monitor.
So do you guys use the intraoral cameras?
Not
Sometimes?
a lot.
Okay. Let me tell you what happens in dentistry, and this is why I don't like intraoral cameras. Somebody comes in with a toothache. I've got a big cavity in number 30. The dentist breaks out the intraoral camera, right? Assistant takes a PA. He walks in the room, says, "Oh yeah, let me show you this tooth, Bob." Grabs a camera, snaps a picture of number 30, puts it up on the screen this big. The dentist is thinking, "Sweet, I get to do my endo buildup and crown. That's my production for today," right? And so the dentist is like, "Oh good, we're all excited when we get emergency." We shouldn't be, right? We should feel bad for our patients, but as dentists, you're always happy because that means you're gonna be busy. So it's a tough balance. But they come in and you see that, you take that picture, you put it up on the TV, and you say, "Bob, you need to do this, and here's your root canal, your buildup, and your crown," and Raquel comes back, and here's the fee, and we do the root canal, the buildup, and the crown, and Bob leaves, and he goes home, and Bob's tooth's better, and Bob feels great. And then Bob doesn't come to see the dentist again until he gets another toothache. So all we've done is reinforce single tooth care, and we've just wasted the most important opportunity in dentistry. That happens all the time. Happens in my office still. I wish it didn't. I'm trying to do better, okay? But we try and take a full arch set of photos so we can educate on all the teeth. When they're in for a limited, we want to show them what's going on and other teeth that may be of concern and how we prevent this from happening again. We want to drive them into our hygiene program. We want them to come back for a comp exam, right? We don't want to take that opportunity to only focus on single teeth. So intraoral cameras foster single tooth care. I think they're a crutch for a lot of dentists. They're not good. Does that make sense?
Because Bob was missing number 19. And
Yeah.
We talked about it. Or
Yeah,
something,
exactly.
right?
So full arch photos, they get people to think comprehensively. Education wins. It's the psychology, the sale. Focus on the patient's goals, then assist them in meeting their goals. So that's another thing, doctors, that I always talk about with patients. I'll say, I ask them their goals. So I think it's good. You sit down with a patient, you build relationships of trust with them. Once you've built the relationship of trust, the way I segue into the dentistry is, "Mrs. Jones, why don't you share with me your long-term goals with your teeth?" That's how I get out of the personal conversation, right? I'm paying them compliments. "Oh, I'm from Washington too. I was born up there in King County Hospital. Cool. Where are you from? Where's your family from? My dad was a dentist, graduated from UW." So I'm having that conversation, building some common ground there, right? And research shows that people that have common interests are more likely to do business with those that are like them. So it's called liking, and you're trying to build some common ground. And then I'm gonna say, "Tell me a little bit about your long-term goals with your teeth." Right? "Austin, why don't you share with me your long-term goals with your teeth as your dentist? Help me understand what you're thinking long-term with your mouth." And he'll tell me, he'll say, "I want to keep my teeth." Some of them think that's a weird conversation. They'll be like, "I want to keep my teeth." And be like, "Thank you, that's good." Now, as I talk to Austin and I tell him what he needs, I'm not selling him anything. I'm not projecting what I think he needs on him. He's opened the door and he's allowed me now to help him fulfill his goals. So the psychology of the environment's very different. Does that make sense? So now I'm helping him fulfill his goals. I'm not just telling him what he needs. Too often I'll see a dentist walk in there, sit down and just say, "Oh, you need this, 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 and this, and this." And the patient's like, "Well, I don't really want that," right? They feel like they've just been forced by the doctor and his agenda, her agenda. Does that make sense to you guys? So asking that question, what are your long-term goals with your teeth, now flips it to where now I'm just assisting him in fulfilling his goals. I'm not the bad guy anymore that's trying to sell dentistry. It prevents it from being framed that way in his mind. That's really important. That's good for you guys to think about. That's huge. It just creates they just are much more open to what you're saying to them. Because if not, the whole time they're thinking, "He's just trying to sell me. He's just trying to sell me dentistry." You know what I mean? Where otherwise they think, "Oh, he's trying to help me fulfill my goals. I told him I want to keep him." So now they're expecting that conversation. Does that make sense?
It's a subtle shift, but it looks like it's really productive.
It is, yeah. So here's what's called a value offering ladder. So we're trying to create a better experience for the patient. So this is from another presentation. It's hard to know what to share with you guys on day one. There's so much material. right, to download all this too fast. I don't want to choke you guys to death. But commodities are extracted from nature and sold to the market, like a coffee bean grower, right? He sold the coffee beans for 2 cents a cup, right? And then Denny's or Folgers buys the products, right, and grinds them up into coffee, grinds it up for you, throws it on the shelf at the grocery store and sells it for 10 cents a cup, right? They mark it up 5 times because they grind it for you, put it in a nice little cute bag, put it at the grocery store. You don't have to go buy the beans from the coffee grower in the middle of nowhere and track them home and grind them all. And so you just go buy the bag from, even though it's 5 times the cost, you just go buy the bag. That's what we did in the 70s and 80s, right? Now, services are created and delivered to clients' patients like coffee served at Denny's. And Denny's marks it up 10 times and they sell you for $1 because they're going to brew it for you. And you're going to pay them to brew it, right? And so then you go buy it at Denny's for $1 a cup. And then Starbucks came along and they staged, they turned coffee into an experience where it's staged and revealed to guests, right? So you go in there, right? And now they write your little name on it. You can get like 1,000 different drinks. And they just make you feel awesome that you walk out, you got your little name on your cup and you're like, yeah, I'm just so awesome, I got a Starbucks cup. Today's gonna be such a good day, right? So you go
See
buy
a big one here in Arizona?
Dutch Brothers.
Okay. They didn't have those.
So you come out of there, my daughter that's special needs, right? My 17-year-old, she's special needs. And she just loves having a Dutch or Starbucks cup. She'll save it with her name on it and she'll just go fill it up with different things. And she just loves to go out in public with it, like, look at me, I'm awesome, I'm awesome. Right? She just wants everybody to see her with her Starbucks cup. But that's how we are. It makes you feel good getting that little cute cup with your name on it. Does it not? Mm-hmm. It does something to you emotionally. So their products make you feel something. It's not just coffee, it's the experience associated with the coffee. It's weird, but humans are wired that way for experience, right? And we're willing to pay for experience, and experience has been winning for quite some time. Last 10, 15 years, it's experience. Go through Dutch Brothers. How nice are they? I've talked to the manager up there at the new one in Gilbert, right, quite a few times. So to see what they did on their first day. I'm just curious about all this stuff. And I'm always talking to them. They're super well trained, right? But when they go through all their training, they say, you're acting. I don't care if you're not happy today, you're acting. You smile, you ask everybody about their day, what are you going to do today? What's on the agenda? How are you doing, right? Are they super happy there all the time?
Like Chick-fil-A.
Do you think everybody's just really that happy there all the time? I don't think so, okay?
I've never
They're
been
probably
to
just
Dutch
not all friggin' happy. I mean, are they passing out ecstasy around that place or what? Right? I just don't think that they're all that happy all the time. But the deal is they act because they know that customer service wins. The experience. You can be having the worst day ever and you go through Dutch Brothers and you're like, man, the world just isn't that bad. People are really nice, right? So you go buy their coffee because you want that compliment and it makes you feel good having your little Dutch Brothers cup, right?
Disney, they call them cast members.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. You're not employees, they're cast members because they're
I say,
acting.
my
Okay.
pleasure. A Chick-fil-A says
That's
my
right.
pleasure after everything.
That's right. So look, guys, when you guys are here, you're acting too. You're in the service industry. So you have to smile. You have to say, welcome to our practice. If you have a new patient come in, who's up front? Selena, you're up front. So Selena, you stand up and say, Mr. Jones, you must be our new patient. Welcome to the practice. Did you find us okay? You need to stand up and greet them. If you're on the phone, you can leave. If you're stuck on the phone, you have to be on the phone. Say, hi, oh, hang on just a second. And whenever you get off, stand up, come out, meet him. You must be our new patient. Here's our new patient paperwork, right? Mm-hmm. Greet them nicely. Welcome them to your practice.
Look them in the eyes.
Okay? Shake their hand. Those are
That's
things that are
it.
important.
I've done it for where you do that and then you
Give them a tour.
give them a tour of the office. And then-
Yes. Correct. Now, if you guys have the time there, take them on a quick tour. If not, when hygiene brings them back, or assistants, dental assistants, you guys bring them back, show them and say, here's our restrooms are on the left here in case you need them. Here's our sterilization area, right? Here's our modern sterilization area, whatever. Give them a little tour. It's nice to do that.
Tour of his office.
Relaxes them too, I guess.
And then transformations, guys, are the highest value offering, right? They're really the ultimate inpatient experience. So cosmetic dentistry, right? Plastic surgery, implants, orthodontics, they change people's lives. You see people that their lives are changed, totally. Okay, so you guys are involved in an industry that's at the very tip of the value offering ladder. You guys have the opportunity to change people's lives in ways that you probably don't know. A lot of patients just cry. I mean, look at the Miss America thing that he did, right? You can change people's lives by what you do. So you're very fortunate to be there instead of being in a coffee bean grower's plantation picking coffee beans, right? You'd rather be here being engaged in that kind of a process. So let me show you guys here, if I can do this. Let me give you an example of this. So this patient came in shopping. So this patient had seen a couple other dentists in town and was shopping for price. She came in price focused, okay? She said, I want to know what you guys will charge me for this. And anyway, just listen to this conversation here. Okay, so these two teeth up here are the teeth that we're concerned about. This is the one that's bothering you, okay? We were able to do some of those tests, tapped on it today. We showed you the big cavity that was down underneath there. So that's the one that's hurting you. What we're going to do there is we're going to do a root canal. We're going to take the nerve out of the tooth, and then we're going to put a new crown on it, okay? A shell over it. This one as well has a big filling in it. It's got a cavity down deep underneath here. So let me just stop for just a second. She came in because she had a toothache up there on number 2 or 3, or sorry, the other side, 14 or 15. She had a toothache there on 14 or 15 and wanted it fixed, right? She'd been to another dentist in town. She came in on price. She said, he's got a bid of like $500-600 for crown. And I said, okay, fine. I ignored her conversation about money. She said, it's $500-600. I said, okay, fine. I said, I'm gonna grab some photos of your teeth. I'm just gonna show you what we see. Let's just talk about that. But I didn't let her guide that conversation. See, I controlled the conversation. Well, our fees are $800 a crown. I didn't tell her that, right? I didn't tell her I ignored it. Like a politician, you know, politicians are asked a question, they never answer the question. They just go on with their own agenda. I know it drives you crazy, right? But that's a tactic, because what's focal is real. Whatever you focus on becomes more salient. It becomes more prominent in our mind. So if you can guide conversations into areas and things you want to talk about, you'll accomplish what you want better. Okay? So I throw the photos up there, and the first thing she acted asked about is, oh, what about that tooth up there? What about number 3? She wasn't even here for that tooth. But she goes, oh, that's ugly. What's going on with that one? So first I told her about the ones that are hurting, about the cavity that's down. You couldn't see the cavity. You could see the big fillings, but you couldn't see the cavity. We had its interproximal, which is deep. And so I talked about that, but then I went over here because she said, hey, what about this? And I said, oh, well, yeah, this one's bad too. Fortunately for you, it's not as bad as the other one. It's on its way. You got a cavity here, but it doesn't need a root canal yet. It's not hurting yet. So yet's a key word. Yet's a good word to use because they understand that it's then coming. They're motivated today, right? They're more motivated today than they ever have been because they're in pain. And when you go into the car shop because something's busted and they say, this is busted, but you also have this, this, and this that needs to be fixed, you're like, you know what, just fix it. Just get it done, so I don't have to hassle with this again, right? Mm-hmm. It's called satisficing. So it's a principle that the first solution that solves all your problems, you're more willing to buy that. So I'm giving them a solution that solves all their problems, and they're more willing just to finance it, put the money down, and just get it done so that their problems are solved.
So they can drive to work the next day.
Yeah, and not have to worry about it, right? We have too much crap going on in life, and we just don't want to worry about it. So I show her number 3 as well, show her 14 and 15, go back over and talk to her about number 3, and they stayed that day, and we did 2, 3, or we did 14, 15, and 3. We did 3 crowns on her and 1 root canal. Okay? 99% of dentists would have done 1 tooth. They would have just fixed 14. They would have done the root canal, the crown, and built up on 14. They would have used the intraoral camera. They would have taken that single photo. They would have treated that single tooth. But with the photos up there, they can see them. And she's the one that brought up number 3. I wasn't going to say anything about it. And she just said, oh, what about that? And I showed her. And then I told her what we needed to do. And we presented a treatment plan and said, would you like to we can do all that today? She said, oh, you can? Yeah, we can do it today. Just be patient with me and hang out and we'll get you fixed today. She's like, great. She didn't even ask about the money. She came in a shopper, right? She was shopping, but she left a buyer. Was it price that changed her mind?
Service.
Okay, it was presentation, but what is presentation here?
Education.
What is it? It's
Service.
It's communication with a purpose, which is sales. Mm-hmm. So was it wrong that I sold her this dentistry?
No, it wasn't.
Was that unethical?
If it was unnecessary, yes.
Yeah. It's unnecessary, correct, right? But if you're comfortable diagnosing it, you should be comfortable selling it. Otherwise, you shouldn't be diagnosing it, right? Okay? So I hope to dispel that myth that why didn't she buy from the guy down the street at $500? Do you think he did that?
Or leave you and go back.
Yeah. Why didn't she leave and go back at $500?
Because she realized
She
it
was
was important to get
educated and
it done.
understood what she needed.
Because I was a Starbucks and they were a Denny's.
Seriously.
Mhm.
Well, that's it.
Okay?
This whole process built trust.
Yeah.
The other guy didn't show her all her teeth on a string, right? Or
Experience, guys, it was experience. She bought the experience. Experience transcends price. If you create the right experience, patients will buy what they need.
Also, if they have nothing else to compare it to, if you think every dentist is the same,
Which you do,
then
what you're supposed to do, yeah.
you have to default to price. There's nothing else to compare.
That's
but,
right.
But when she went to you,
Exactly.
she saw, oh, there is a difference.
Yes.
There is more than price.
Correct.
I value this more, right?
Yes.
You can usually tell that by the cars people drive too. Not everybody's driving in with the cheapest car,
Yeah.
you know. So you see, oh, why did they buy that car instead of the other car? Or why do they not go to Little Caesars and they buy from Mod Pizza? It's a few dollars extra. You know, you start to see people don't want to buy the cheapest thing. They want experience, right? That they don't want to buy the cheapest thing like ever. Rarely does anybody. You know, they always are looking for a better experience. They're looking for experiences to brag about, to feel good about, you know, so this is perfect.
So there is a Starbucks Reserve. I don't know if anyone's heard about that yet. I know they're up in Seattle now, but it's a high-end coffee. It's like $15 a cup or something ridiculous.
Nice.
I want some. That sounds
It's 5 times better.
I mean, they have
My
a,
life won't be complete.
it's like a coffee sommelier. So they just know everything about the coffee. They can tell you everything about it, the location, where it's from,
It's
everything.
laced with Coke.
And it's,
Yeah. Brings it back.
but it's still just that. It's still just coffee. But who knows if it's better or not?
But the experience
Yeah,
makes it better.
experience. Oh, and the store's it's amazing.
Right. Yeah.
Look
Just
it
to
up
go in
and
there
find
and
it.
sit down and you
It's
just
unreal.
feel awesome. You can like selfie
Yeah.
yourself, put it on Facebook. I'm drinking $15 coffee. Right. The social mileage you can get out of that. Right. But who would ever thought you'd be paying? Did you guys ever think though that you'd pay $5 for a cup of coffee? Did you guys ever think you'd pay $5 for a cup of coffee? If I'd asked you back in the '80s, would you pay $5 for a cup of coffee? You
Or
thought that was
$2
insane.
for water or
Yeah.
Right.
But it just happens, right? You don't realize it, but it happens. So Lauren's right. They don't have any. The average person looking for a dentist doesn't know how to question you guys or look for things other than price. So she comes in saying, "Hey, what do you guys charge? What do you guys charge?" Because to a consumer, you're all the same. So you have to create an experience that's different that transcends price. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in the price war forever, right?
Is this about the size TV you're going to be putting in each, we're going to be putting
Yeah.
in each op here?
Yeah,
All right.
A little bit
A
bigger.
little bigger.
maybe. Sure, we have 55s. Yeah,
Oh, you-
50, 55.
Awesome.
But
Blinded by the
so let's finish watching this so you guys can kind of hear it. Take that out, take out all the bad tooth structure. We're gonna put an epoxy on the inside to glue it together internally, and then put a shell over this one as well. Okay. This one over here, you can see here how all this gray. Can you see all the gray here? So this is all bad tooth structure. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna take all this out. We're gonna kind of come right around here, take out this whole segment, this bad part of the tooth, and any cavity that's in there. And then same thing, we're gonna kind of put in a white epoxy in there, and then we're gonna encase it all with crown. We're gonna go around the whole thing.
So that's amazing how you're just gonna take out partial, part of the tooth, and then you fill in the rest and put a full crown on there.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Out of the 54 years that I've been going to the dentist, I have never seen anything like this. I mean, usually I'll go into the dentist and they're like, oh, here, you're gonna fix this, you're gonna fix that, and where does it hurt? And you're like, oh my God, and then you're out of there. But I've never had anybody show me. It's so neat that you guys are educating these young people on how to take care of their teeth and really show them I mean, can you see, now that you see it on film, doesn't it look like, oh wow, this is what I got going on?
It actually does because I never knew.
I know, I mean, seeing it, then you really believe it, and you understand it.
Education's powerful, isn't it?
Oh,
See, and that's what
unbelievable.
motivates us to change. So we're
Yes.
passionate about that. We want you to understand. And
Right,
if this can help you understand and help you take care of your mouth better, then we all win.
absolutely. Yeah, if I would have been taught how to take care of my teeth better like that, I probably wouldn't have as many crowns as I do either.
You're probably right.
Yeah, probably.
So-
Yeah.
It also showed that she didn't trust the last dentist, right? Because otherwise, why would she have shopped? You know, so there was something there
She was looking for.
that she was looking for. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and then you probably brought her mom in too, if she was from this area.
Good point, because who's making the financial decisions there?
Your mom.
Mom. So if you're having a conversation and you're going through a big treatment with somebody, and their significant other isn't there, and I'll say Mrs. Jones or whoever, or Betty, you know, who else, is there anybody else involved that's helping make the financial decisions, you know, with your mouth? If I sense that's there, a wife, the husband, because guess what? If you come up with a big treatment plan of implants and ortho or whatever you're doing, it's a $10,000 treatment plan, and she goes home, the husband, you know, goes home and say, hey husband, you know, I've got this $10,000 treatment plan. The guy's like, what the hell? I'm not doing that, right? He's gonna flip out. So you have to control the environment. So quite often, I'll just say, you know, Judy, is your husband around today? Can he come down and can we talk to him about this a little bit? I'd like to explain this to him too, because I know that he's an important factor from, you know, what you've mentioned that in making this decision. It's a big decision. You should probably be involved in it. Could you have him come down so I can review this with him as well? We've found that to be much more effective than you going home and trying to present that. Most of the women are like, yeah, have him come over. Like they're happy, right? They don't want to go home and try to have that conversation. So control the environment. Don't let her go home, or don't let that single person go home and have that conversation with somebody else. I always get them to come in, or can we set up a time then if they're not available today to come in? I'll just try and get them to call on the cell phone and see if they can run over. That's all, just ask. And if they can't, then say, let's set up a time where you and I just discuss this with your significant other. Because I have to get the photos in front of them too. They have to see and understand everything that's happening, or you just won't get that decision made. Does that make sense? Okay, so we've talked about this. The public generally doesn't have positive associations with our profession. Have you guys seen Little Shop of Horrors, right? I mean, root canals, there's a commercial on right now, the guy goes down the elevator and there's root canal opens up. Have you seen that one recently? Right, and it's like, it's terrifying, right? So our profession has been kind of the laughing stock of, you know, the most painful thing you can ever have is a root canal. It's like the worst thing ever. It's outside of childbirth or something. Patients don't trust you, and initially have no reason to. Studies show that people lean either towards you or away from you in the first 7 seconds. People make an emotional decision about you as a healthcare provider in the first 7 seconds. So what are they evaluating? In the first 7 seconds, if I go up and meet Austin and we meet for the first time, within 7 seconds, he's either emotionally leaning towards me or away from me. Okay, it's subconscious, but it's real, right? That's why guys like Bill Clinton, right? He was known to have a lot of charisma, right? And he was just always really good with people, and everybody liked him. So there's some people that are just, that others kind of gravitate towards or away from. And your patients will do the same thing. So in 7 seconds, if that's true, what are people looking at in the first 7 seconds? If you make quick judgments, what are you gonna look at?
I think the confidence.
Confidence?
Yeah, how
Okay.
you're presenting to me. If
Okay.
I don't feel like you're that confident, I'm not interested.
What does that look like? Because that's funny
Yeah.
that you say it that way,
Yeah.
but what does that
How do
mean?
you judge confidence
How do
in
you-
7
how
seconds?
does-
You just go off of, yeah, you just go off of them and how they are. If they're friendly, if they're not friendly, if they get straight to the point, or if they introduce themselves, and just everything.
Okay, good. So as a doctor, you want to greet, you want to come in, like if you're coming around the patient, right? If I'm behind them, I don't want to come in and be like, hey, all right, if I'm coming around, I'm going to be like, hey, hi Austin, how are you? Nice to meet you, Dr. Pope. And I'm going to smile at him, right? And then I'm going to go sit down, and I'm going to sit down at eye level with Austin on a chair, right? And I sit back in a chair and just kind of fold my leg over and be like, say, Austin, where are you from? Tell me a little bit about yourself. And I just build relationships with him, but at eye level. I don't want to stand. I don't want him laying on his back. I want him sitting up so he doesn't feel like I'm some authoritative figure over him, right? I don't want this power dynamic to exist in his mind. But in the first 7 seconds, what about how I'm dressed? Does that make a difference? Okay. Do you guys, that's why I have all my guys wear ties, okay? I have a dentist that we're actually, well, I can't talk about that, but anyway. I can't talk about it anyway.
Bless his heart.
But yeah, bless his heart.
I know the dirt.
He doesn't really deserve to have his heart blessed.
No, he doesn't.
But anyway.
We've tried to bless his heart.
But if you come in, guys, if I'm dressed like this or I'm wearing scrubs, okay? If I'm wearing scrubs and I'm wearing Vans, let's say I'm just wearing old Vans and scrubs, and I come in to talk to you as a dentist, and I'm talking to you about a cosmetic veneer case or doing orthodontics for you, are you going to respond differently to me if I'm in scrubs and old Vans and if I'm in a nice shirt and tie and dress shoes? As a doctor that you first met?
Well, if you're dressed like that, obviously you care about your appearance, so you're gonna make the veneers look better, or you're recommending something that can make them look better, just like you do.
Right. So my dress is a reflection of my dentistry, isn't it?
Then why do you wear pink?
That's the other subconscious part of me, okay, Brady? Please. So there's these subconscious judgments that we make, right? Whether we realize it or not, we do it immediately. So just like Selena said, if I'm dressed nice and I look confident to her, and I smile and I have nice teeth and I dress nice, she thinks that my dentistry is good, she immediately trusts me and leans towards me, okay? A lot of dentists wonder, oh, I do my job here, I diagnose all the treatment, I lay them upside down, they stare at my nose hairs, I say you need an MODO. Patient's like, I don't know what the hell he's even talking about. They go up to Raquel, and then the dentist is like, oh, my front office can't sell anything. It's all my front office's fault. She can't close treatment. She sucks at it. But if that patient's leaning away from the dentist from the minute they meet him, or they're leaning towards them through presentation and education and the discussion and confidence, right? Joy does it. Joy knows. How is it when patients come up when they've been treated right by a doctor that's confident, knows what he's talking about? How's closing treatment for that doctor versus another doctor?
I need to go over it. They already know, they're already signing, they said, let's get it done now. Compared to a doctor that doesn't educate, it is definitely a different experience taking that patient out. They have tons of questions, you gotta bring the doctors back in. So as long as your doctors are educating, it is super easy to close treatment.
And there's lots for me to learn in this ball game, and Jared's going to be helping me and coaching me and recording me.
I'm going to help Austin.
My voice in Austin. He needs a lot of understanding. No, if he's here as an associate too, we're still figuring all that out. But I mean, this is an area where we're going to need coaching and feedback, and there's a learning curve here for sure too.
So appearance matters, right? There were studies done with a white lab coat. I admit that I'm guilty of not wearing the lab coat like I should. You guys should wear the lab coat. It's here, Jess has it. When you have you guys try it on, we'll get those ordered for you too. Has your names on them. But a white lab coat with a shirt and tie has been shown to be even a little bit better. So there were some studies I read.
Case acceptance, you mean?
Case acceptance. Just a little bit more formal doctor appearance. I'm a little bit lazy at the point of my career where I hate to say it, man, I don't care as much as I should have, but I should wear the white coat. It's hanging in my room, and I didn't get in the habit of picking the thing out and wearing it all the time. But I should. That's my fault. I gotta own
You
that.
want us to wear scrubs under our white coat, right?
Yeah, you guys will have matching scrubs, so we'll give you a budget. We buy scrubs for everybody once a year. We get everybody to wear the same color scrubs for the year. We used to do like Mondays pink, blue, black, whatever, and then I didn't wash mine, or I was off, or they're dirty, and so we always had different days coming in, and so you have to pick a color for the year. If you guys want black for the year, it's black. If you want to wear blue, if you want to wear
So
pink.
front office or?
No, you guys wear just business attire.
So do
You
you wear
guys
that
just wear
first too?
What's the budget?
So no on the front office, but yes on all the scrubs. Yes on the scrubs. So you guys have to pick, and then we'll get a name tag too, right? So we'll have a name tag that you guys all wear in the office with your title on it. Because as I come in,
And I just pin it into the scrub each morning or something? Okay.
And who's your hygienist here? I mean, assistants, right? Your assistants. So Amy brings me back, and Amy comes out here and says, "Hi, Jared. Nice to meet you. I'm Amy. I'm I'm Dr. Pope's assistant. Nice to meet you. Welcome to our practice. Let me bring you back. And then I lay down in the chair and I'm like, hey, Amy, can I use the bathroom real quick? Or do I want can I have a drink of water? And I forgot her name because I'm an idiot because she just told me her name 2 seconds ago, but I'm not thinking about what she's telling me. I'm just scared to be here and I'm wondering what the hell's going on and I got a toothache, right? So I don't pay attention. But I feel stupid now asking Amy because I just forgot her name. So it makes patients more comfortable to have name tags on everybody so they can refer to you by first name. And then patients, cheers. I want to go where everybody knows my name. Everybody likes to be where people know them and they know everybody's names, and it helps them feel more comfortable to come here and interact with you guys if your name tags are there.
I just want to mention, you just like past 10 minutes, I was thinking, it's possible to do the same thing with 2 different energies, right? Like if you have any resistance to something, it really shows in your confidence. So if you're like, I'm doing what he told me, but if you're doing it hesitantly, or if you have resistance, or you're just doing it to check it off a list, it's much different than actually doing it, believing in it, and knowing that it works. Like I've been to the gym where I don't feel like it, and I don't get a very good workout, and I'm tired, and then I've been to the gym where I'm excited and ready to be there, and I have a much better workout. So you can do the same thing with 2 different energies into it, and it can change the results completely, and we've seen that a lot, right? Because if you have any resistance to any of this, bring it up, because we need to talk through that stuff. Don't just do it. If you don't believe in it, don't do it not believing in it. Get that talk. Let's talk through it, and then when you believe in it, then you'll do it with a lot more energy. You'll see the results, because a lot of times when you do something with resistance, you'll almost want it to fail, right? You're like, it didn't work. I'm not going to do that again, right? And so it's really important that if you have any resistance to any of this, that we talk about this.
Okay, so 4 photos for every comp exam and limited. So this is what we'll do with the patients, okay? And again, it's going to take us a little bit to get the TVs up, get your camera. He's starting Monday. He got his license already.
I got licensed on Saturday.
So,
It came through way faster. We were expecting 2 weeks from now. And
So that's why we're kind of integrating everything now, because he's going to
I
start.
think Dr. Novelli will finish up Wednesday and Thursday this week, and then I'll be in next Monday. He'll still see crown seats and stuff in and out. But,
So it was.
Okay.
That was his final.
What's happening?
He texted us this morning and said like he'll just be in to finish a couple things, and
Yeah.
we're like,
Yeah.
is he done now?
Okay, so again, this is from another presentation, but I wanted to steal a few things here just to give you guys a little bit of more context too, and just the environment that we create here. So we value beautiful smiles, kind of like you value Starbucks because it makes you feel good, right? You value things, you value beautiful smiles in our society. So bright white straight teeth and a winning smile builds confidence. It shows those around you that you care about your appearance, that you're clean and healthy, kind of like you said. If my appearance is clean, if my nose hairs aren't hanging out, my ear hairs, and I'm well trimmed and I'm clean, my dentistry is a reflection of me. That's all we have to judge by. It's not an accurate judgment, but that's just what we do. We assume if the doctor looks nice, presents nice, smells nice, looks nice, has a nice smile, then his dentistry must be nice. That's just what we do.
I got my veneers and crowns done a year ago, and I can't tell you how many patients are like, oh, are my teeth gonna be that white or that straight or
Yes.
anything like that, so.
Right.
You have veneers.
And and do you smile with more confidence now?
Oh, of course. My teeth were naturally yellow, and they were straight because I've had braces in Invisalign multiple times, but they just were naturally yellow. Even my bottom teeth are a little bit yellow, but I whiten pretty often.
So that made you feel different.
Oh, of course.
What about when family pictures now? Do you smile with more confidence?
Yeah,
Do you feel
definitely.
differently like
I
that?
look back from my previous pictures compared to now, my smile is bigger and a fuller smile I've always had, so.
And that makes you feel good. So that's a transformative, right? That's at the top of the value offering ladder, right? So studies show people are more comfortable working with and buying from someone who has clean white teeth versus someone with yellow, poor oral hygiene. So I was looking, my wife's a real estate agent, and I just happened to go on through studies on some of this, and one was on real estate agents. And the top real estate agents and ones that they work with, they did a study on how people appear. And a nice smile and clean, healthy smile was one of the factors of choosing a real estate agent, right? So they just went on, you go on the internet, you choose the best looking real estate agent, and that's the one you choose to do your agent. People are they're superficial. When patients come to our website, guess where the first place they go? Staff pictures. They want to go see the staff.
Can you track exactly where they go right on
Yeah.
the website? They go right to staff pictures?
Yeah, they hit the home page and then they go to staff.
They wanna
and then
see
they go
you
to
guys.
doctor.
They want to see what the doctor looks like, what the hygienist.
They
I do that.
They want to see if the
team.
team looks
They
nice.
want to see if the team looks nice and clean and friendly. Because that's all they have to judge you guys by.
We do track.
They don't
and-
know if our clinical skills are
And
good or not. They don't
It's
know.
on every one of our websites. It's the same path. It's always the homepage and then the staff.
Okay?
And there's other links. They can go other places if they go to see the staff.
So real estate agents did better if they had a nice, pretty smile, right? I don't think there's anything more that I want for my own kids than to go into the world with confidence. Can you go into the world with confidence if your canines are stuck up here and you're a teenager and you're worried about everybody and how they look at you? That robs your confidence, right? So how we appear to others is super important to us. We all care deeply about it. Studies also show that people with nice teeth are more likely to get a better job and make more money. Okay? So attractiveness matters and it plays a role in our lives. So do we talk to patients how we can improve their attractiveness through a great smile and healthy teeth? Right? Those are things that you can have those conversations. I always like to differentiate between necessary dentistry and then dentistry that could improve their life and improve their smile. I'll sometimes ask, I said, do you smile with confidence? If you look at yourself in your own, in photos and selfies, do you like your smile? Are you happy with it? We'll have it up there and I'll just kind of ask that. Right? And sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. And then it segues into the conversation. Right? But if we don't ask, and we feel hesitant to ask that, but of course we're going to ask that. You're at a dental office. Patients expect you to ask those questions in the dental office. It's not weird. It's only weird for us. But it's not weird for them. They expect that conversation. Right? They're at a dental office. So, guys, which girl would you rather date? Seriously.
I'm married, so.
But I mean, does it make a difference? Guys, does that make a difference? Is she more attractive with those veneers done than without them?
And Botox, yes.
Yeah.
She's noticed
them
Botox
too.
around the
She's
eyes,
just
yeah.
slimmer in the face a little.
Yeah.
So they doctored that up a little bit.
She probably lost weight because of the smile.
But I mean, even looking right there, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
it's
obvious.
she's more attractive. I think every guy out there would say. So is she gonna get a richer husband? Yes. Is she gonna get,
Whatever. All right, now your presentation's full of crap.
whatever the women are after, I don't know. Let's be honest, right? And let's go to the next one too.
He's just on a roll
What about
today.
what about this guy? Girls? Does that make a difference? I'm not showing you his pocketbook. I'm just showing you his teeth.
You're talking about LASIK, is that what it is?
Right? His financial statement isn't there, but you can see his smile.
They all just love the most.
I
Yeah.
haven't locked in the basement.
But the smile makes a big difference, right? I recently interviewed a dentist. I interviewed a dentist for a job. His teeth look like this. When I was interviewing all these guys, I interviewed a dentist who was actually pretty good in his clinical skills, and his teeth looked like that. And I couldn't hire the guy because his teeth look like crap. Like how? No, I couldn't. I wanted to. I almost did. I was so close, right? But I couldn't bring myself to quite tell the guy. But the bottom line is, how do you go in and represent ideal health and presentation and big, pretty smiles, right? That's what we're all about. We have to represent that well, right? And so, too many dentists have these old grungy teeth. That's like, well, no wonder your patients don't accept any cosmetic work. Look at your own smile. It looks like shit. And you're trying to tell your patients they should put veneers on theirs, like why? Right? You have to practice what you preach. So who's your competition? So your competition is Disney, Louis Vuitton, Lululemon. Have any Lululemon pants? You guys know what Lululemon pants are? Does everybody love my daughter, 20-year-old, wears those things around the house all the time. I swear she's like half naked in them because they're so freaking tight. I'm like, geez, Eden, you really have to wear these things all the time? But you go to the gym, and how many girls have Lululemon pants on? A lot of them, right? That's just the cool thing. To go to the gym and wear your Lululemon pants. Right.
At least you know what you're paying attention to at the gym.
That's the
But the bottom line is, but why do they wear Lululemon pants?
To say they wear Lululemon.
Because they're awesome. And guess what? The girls go to the gym and they look super cute and they just think they are so cute when they walk in with their Lululemon pants. And they just want to feel awesome while they're at the gym wearing their pants. Okay? That's consumerism. And that's what they're after. Lululemon pants make them feel good. Starbucks makes them feel good, right? A Disney trip makes them feel good. Vegas sells all this fun time. Go to Vegas and have a blast. It makes them feel good. People spend their money on stuff that speaks to their value system and makes them feel better as an individual. That's what they spend their money on. So the discretionary money, Disney captures more discretionary money than anybody in the country. Their theme parks are more likely to capture an extra dollar from any American than anyone else. Okay? Because Disney's fun. Why would you spend your money at the dental office when you can go to Disneyland? Okay? So you're competing against discretionary funds. So our job is to make our products make their life better. Offer them a new smile. For Rachel, it's been a big thing, right?
Mm-hmm. You
You love your new smile, and are you happy you spent the money on it?
A lot of money, but yeah.
Okay. Was it worth it to you?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So we have to be able to speak to patients in a way that, you know what, if we redid your smile here, I share with them now. We had a meeting just about 3 or 4 months ago, the hygiene meeting, and she was talking about the best dental practices in the country. Same with the book I just read by Fred Joyle, the 1-800-Dentist founder. Said that the most successful practices in the country have that theme in their practice. They are focused on dentistry will make your life better. It seems a little cliche, but they speak to patients in improving their smile, building their confidence, making them feel better through a prettier, healthier mouth.
It's
Right.
true though, the same reason people get nose jobs and
Yeah.
other things.
I think that's what celebrity doctors do.
Yeah.
That's where I went in LA. So I found a guy on Instagram and I went and got my teeth done. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big thing now too, right? So people buy on emotion, they buy what they want, not what they need. They're buying on emotion, they want to feel good and smile well. That's what they're gonna make, that's what makes them spend a lot of money on. To look cuter and look better, how we appear to others is important, and that's what they wanna feel and experience, right? So that's what they'll do. So since that, I've been talking a little bit more about the smile and how people with nice, pretty smiles tend to get better jobs, have more successful careers. I've been mentioning that kind of softly to some of my patients, and I did 2 or 3 full mouth rehabs just because of that in the last couple months. It's more than I had in the past. So because I just was talking about it, and I really hadn't talked as much about the cosmetic side as I used to. Since I started kind of throwing that in there, it's worked well. So, okay. So here's another example for you guys. We're getting close, we're almost done. But this is me just going through an exam like that, showing them their teeth, talking to her about cosmetics. I show her an example of a case that we can do. She starts crying a little bit because she doesn't like her smile. I share with her, I asked her, I said, I noticed you don't like to smile. She kind of was holding her lips down, and I had noticed that. I said, you really don't like to smile, do you? And she said, no. And I said, is it embarrassing? She's like, yeah. And I just kind of go through it with her and tell her that we can give her confidence back and we'll make her have a pretty smile. And she was just tearing up, and it was a cool experience, right? As a dentist.
I told her she has a lot of movement from the teeth, so there may not be enough room. We'd have to look and see.
Okay, good. So Maya, first off, so Mariah, she kind of, the hygiene department in our practice, they focus on prevention, right? They're gonna try to keep your gums and your bone healthy so that your teeth will stay there a long time.
Okay.
So before I go build a pretty smile, I wanna make sure that we have a good healthy foundation. So Mariah makes sure that we keep that healthy foundation.
Okay.
And right now you've got an active infection in the gums and the bone. So Mariah will need to make sure we treat that. Once that's treated, that'll also tell us a little bit more about how you respond to that treatment and how your body responds. Will tell me more too on how to fix your teeth.
Okay.
Because we've got to make sure that that foundation's healthy.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. Well, let's go take a look at your teeth. So here are the teeth front on. So obviously you don't like this.
I don't.
Right? Some of these teeth are a little bit crooked. This one's a little bit more white than this, right? You can see some of the stain here.
That's a cap. I have a cap.
Right, that's a
Yeah.
cap that goes on that, correct.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an older style cap. Notice how it's all kind of one color. The caps that we do now are a little bit nicer.
Okay.
But the deal is when you have one, do you see how it stands out? You can tell, so the eye is very good at telling differences in material and the way it reflects light. There's a lot that goes into how we perceive something, right? And if I look at you and I can see one perfect one that's more white and then the others look different, I can tell it's fake. If they're all the same, then I look at it and I think that's natural. Does that make sense?
It does.
It tricks the eye to make you think it's natural.
Right.
Right? Did you grab my laptop?
Yeah.
I can
And we
tell
talked
by
about 4 to 12 crowning as well.
Yeah. So obviously that'll need to be fixed. We would want to replace this, and we'll probably want to do some veneers or crowns in the front to make everything look really pretty for you.
Okay.
That's how you get a really pretty smile.
Right.
Okay. So with the stain and the different things that you have here, that's going to be something along those lines will be your best option. I can show you here. Let me show you real quick. Another case, kind of like yours, like what we did.
Okay.
So that way you have an idea of what things can look like in the end. So here's a patient that we did crowns and veneers across all the front.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. So those, those teeth didn't used to look like that. I don't have it before because this was a long time ago, but you think those are natural, right? You can't tell that they're not natural because what it does is it tricks your eye. When you go all the way across, then you can't tell because it all blends and looks right, and so the eye thinks, oh, that person just has naturally pretty teeth, even though they're fake, they're veneers. But you see how much more natural these look?
They do look.
And that how this looks a little bit more pasty, a little bit more kind of stark white, right? So that's how you create that really pretty smile. Okay. Is that kind of what you're looking for? That would look beautiful. That would be awesome. We could do that. And when you have a nice pretty smile, I notice you kind of hide.
I do, because I don't
You
like
don't want to smile. I know. You kind of hold back a little bit, don't you?
I do.
That's unfortunate. Well, I want to help you change that.
Okay.
Right? Because it affects your relationships, it affects jobs that you get, right? There's a lot of studies now that show that if you have a pretty smile and you appear well to people, you get better jobs and more fulfilling relationships and all sorts of stuff. So
I agree.
this kind of stuff is kind of life-changing, right?
Yeah.
So that's exciting. I love that kind of dentistry. So
I know.
we can help you with that.
Okay.
All right, let's keep looking. So here's some of the upper teeth here. This one's actually spun a little bit. Okay, that's that canine with the cavity in it, right?
Okay.
So that one we can unspin. You got a little space here. You're missing a tooth over here. This was one of your big chewers. Okay, this is the upper right side. This is up here.
Over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that space up there. Okay. So that's where a tooth was missing. So we can put an implant back in there and give you another tooth. The reason that's important is those are your big chewers in the back. And if you don't have those big supporting teeth in the mouth, long term you break down all the rest of the teeth. So those are really critical to long-term function. And if we put nice pretty teeth up here in front, we don't want them to break. We want them to be healthy and strong. Does that make sense?
It does.
So these back teeth that support all the chewing, those are really important to make these teeth all stay healthy.
Okay.
Okay? So everything kind of works together as a whole. And here's the lower teeth. Huh?
We have one more as well, since it was a little foggy.
Here's the lower teeth. There's a little bit of fog on this mirror here, but do you see all the debris in here? Okay, so that's all the tartar and the infection that Mariah was talking to you about.
Okay.
So that's the area that needs to be cleaned up, that we need to make healthy. This molar is also kind of tipped forward. See how this molar's tipped way over? You can kind of see the angle of it. So really what's best here is we do braces and we straighten it back up and pull it into to where it's supposed to be, right? Because right now, that's not functioning like it should. It's kind of like a car tire that your alignment's off and it starts to wear and it doesn't, the tire won't last as long. Same with the tooth, once it's tipped over, the forces that are generated aren't good and you'll lose that tooth over time.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we would do some braces down here and I would actually take this tooth and I would straighten it out and I'd put it right up next to this one like it should be. So we can actually fix this and make it useful for you long term.
Okay.
Okay, so that's important here too. All right, and this one as well, actually the same thing over here. Just didn't quite see that because of the fog. Can you see that? How it's kind of tipped down? So we'll have to level those out for you. All right. Any questions for me on this stuff so far?
I just don't know how the braces like will work. It's just, you could just do one set of braces down here? all across the teeth,
We'll
or-
probably do top and bottom,
Oh,
because I
okay.
want to move the teeth into kind of ideal position before I put the crowns on them. I can make stuff look a little bit nicer if I have the teeth where I want them before we put the crowns on them.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
so you want to do braces first?
Braces first.
And then the crown?
Because I gotta fix all these, right? I can't fix that without braces. Those molars back there have to have the braces
Okay.
to get everything lined up like they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because all your teeth were meant to kind of function and fit together like puzzle pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're engineered to bear the load when they fit together like they should.
Mm-hmm.
But when they're out of whack and they don't fit together right, or they're leaned over like your molars are, then the wear over time breaks them down. And they have problems with the bone and the gums, and they eventually come out because of that. So your goal is, I'm sure, to have a pretty smile, but I'm sure you want it to last. How young are you?
I'm 42.
So in your 80s, you probably want to have that smile still in your 80s,
Yeah.
right? So an important part of that is making sure that these molars and all those teeth, that they line up right,
Okay.
so that we have long-term health of your entire mouth, right?
Okay.
We don't want to go spend a bunch of money on it and then have it break down prematurely
Right.
because we didn't set it up right.
Okay.
So the braces will allow us to line all the teeth just right,
Okay.
like they should be.
Okay.
And then the crowns and veneers, those will make them pretty,
Okay.
okay? Those veneers just make them white and pretty.
Okay.
But we need functional, we need long-term function.
Okay.
So Mariah's gonna clear your infection, we're gonna do braces to get them all lined up right, then we'll make them pretty with the veneers.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. So let me ask you this then. Is it a way, because I was just thinking, like, is there like another option to just pull them out and then put implants on?
Yes, that's an option, but it's a poor option.
It is, okay.
Yes, for someone in your situation, you don't need to do that.
Okay.
That would be a very invasive treatment. It's kind of, it's like if I can do arthroscopic knee surgery, if you have a bad knee, and I can go in there with 3 little holes and I can clean it out and fix it, or should I just replace your whole knee,
Okay.
right?
Right.
That's what it's like.
Okay.
So we don't need to do that.
Okay.
If you were, you would have, your disease would have to be much worse. You'd have to be missing more teeth.
Okay.
And the implants aren't perfect either.
Right.
We only do that when these teeth are no longer salvageable
Okay.
or restorable, which they are for sure.
Okay.
So we can fix them and we can give you a pretty smile that can last the rest of your life. We just need to make sure that we're seeing you regularly. So how often have you seen the dentist in the first 30 years of your life? When did you go? Tell me about that a little bit.
Well, I didn't go as an adult until I was like, until this front tooth was starting to give me issues. And I was like in my late 20s,
Right.
early 30s.
And then I would guess that you probably just came to see us because you saw a problem. And that's kind of what motivated you, right?
Yeah, and then
Right.
I already knew that I need to take better care of my teeth.
So we just have to play the game a little bit differently.
Okay.
The rest of your life, you're gonna have to come see us regularly, and we can help you. But the reason you're where you're at is because you just didn't quite do things the way you should have, right? That's okay. We'll be your cheerleaders. We're gonna help you now, and we're gonna get you on a different path, and we'll make things better.
Okay.
Okay? So
Sounds good.
we just have to play the game differently,
Okay.
right? And we'll keep them. If I didn't feel that I could get you 20 or 30 years out of your teeth, I wouldn't recommend you do all this.
Okay.
I would tell you to take them out.
Okay.
But taking you out at your age is not good treatment. Not, no way. No good dentist would ever recommend that for you.
Okay.
Okay? If you had only 2 or 3 left, then yes, but you've got a good set of teeth that we can still save.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, good.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to go look inside now a little
Okay.
bit, and I'm going to kind of speak a little Greek to Mariah as we
Okay.
kind of try and put all this that I've explained to you in our dental terminology.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I try not to lose you, but I understand kind of our overall goal and picture of what we're trying to accomplish.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, well, good. All right. So is the family here too, or what's?
Yeah, so me and my husband live here. He's from Michigan. My family's in California.
Oh, yeah?
So we're all over.
All over, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that
molar's really laid down, isn't it?
Yes.
Jeez. Both of those.
And it's already a little bit loose.
So this here, we're gonna need to take that one out.
17?
Yes, let's take out 17. So there may be a few that are better to take out.
Okay.
And I'll tell you that here. Yeah. Yep. Let's take out 17.
Another one that's
Let's go see here.
and then up here as well for some job.
14.
So
So what do you do for work or kids or
Yeah, I work at PayPal.
what do you do?
Yeah, I work in underwriting, and my kids are grown.
They are.
Yeah, my oldest is 23.
Well, that's kind of what happens. You take care of your kids and do all your stuff,
Yeah.
and then later on in life, you're like, okay, now it's time to take care of me.
myself.
Yeah, we see it a lot. Have that light, Mariah.
Yep.
Take a look here.
lower, upper.
I think let's see what kind of result we get out of. Let's take out 17 because it's too laid down.
Okay.
Let's just see what we get. So you've got an active infection on these teeth, right? I want Mariah to clean them up, and I just want to see what kind of result we get and how you respond to treatment. Okay. If I can get these to tighten up, then I'll keep them. If not, then we'd have to take them out. Just this molar over here, okay? And the one on this end I'm going to take out. The one over here, we'll kind of wait and see. All right. The more natural teeth we can keep, the better off you'll be. Let's take out 14. Did you hear me?
Mhm.
14. Let's get that out too.
Okay.
We need an occlusal on 29. And a lingual on 10. No, it's gonna have a just.
Yeah, I was
add a
gonna say,
build-up.
I
Just
did
add a-
crowns.
Just add a build-up to it. Did you have build-ups on them or not?
On all of them, yeah.
You did, okay.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, and then 11, if you have an, go back to the x-ray on that too. Again, sorry to speak a little Greek here.
Or canal as well. She said that one is.
Yeah, and then no, and then as well. Yeah, correct.
Let me go see the referral.
That's still considered an anterior, not a bicuspid, right? 11.
It's an anterior, yeah.
Okay.
And let's get 16 out of there.
Okay.
Two is good, that's solid. And then I want you to crown 2 and 15 as well.
Okay.
So those, we added those in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then 16 you gotta take out too. The surgical erupted.
16.
And then you got con-ortho in there as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that tells us kind of what we need. We gathered some information there.
Okay.
There is a few teeth that I'm going to take out.
Okay.
There's one up here that's bad that I just need to take out. This one's going to come out. Those two, okay? And then we're going to kind of, actually there's two up here. The one in the very back's a wisdom teeth. So we still keep one more up there, which is really good. We want to hang on to as many of those as we can. This guy's gonna come out. We'll do braces, we'll straighten everything out, and then she'll have to clean up your infection first.
Okay.
Then we'll do the braces. Then once that's all done, then we can talk about implants to fill in the missing gaps. Does that make sense? So 14, get an implant on 14. Implant the graft. Open up the lid.
I'm just going to let the doctor see it.
$79.50 or $79.53. Bone replace ridge previous site or graft of mandible maxilla
Where?
for the graft. Which one is it?
Just a socket graft. This is the one that we normally use. I think it's that one.
This one. I think it is too. The
Socket
previous
graft.
site
Yeah.
one. Okay.
So the gap up here, I'm just gonna try and close with braces. We don't need to put an implant up there. It'll save you some money and it'll still be a really good solution. Okay, so I'm kind of making an executive decision on some of these things based on experience. Okay, and we'll put an implant back over here on this side. And then when we're done, we'll see kind of how these teeth have responded. You may need another implant or two on the bottom as well, but that's enough for the first phase. Once we get you stable, we get you there, then we can talk about.
So here's what we do in a limited, right? We'll take a facial picture of them, and then we'll take a full arch photo of each arch. So that's kind of what it looks like. And then I would just sit here and I would just discuss with the patient, right? I'd just go through their mouth and talk to them about their restorations. I think in this guy, I think the only one that we ended up putting a crown on was this guy back here. I think he had a bigger crack somewhere, but we just we'll show them their old restorations, so they just have an idea too of what's there. These are amalgam fillings. This is a crown. Here's an amalgam filling. You got a little crack here and a little crack on that side. This is a crown that they went through and did a root canal. And the patient's like, wow, I've never seen my teeth like this. Even Joy, when we took pictures of her teeth, she's like really interested in them. She's never seen them, right?
Really cool.
So patients will be like, wow, no dentist has ever showed me my teeth like this. This is good. They've never seen them. They like to see them. So just go through and just take a tour of their mouth and show them what you see. Right? Also down the road, if there is a problem, they're aware of it.
Like
Kind of.
the mesial cracks on both those bicuspids, I'd be planting a seed,
Yeah.
for that. Would you agree?
Yeah.
That could turn into a
That's
crown
kind
of the road or
of
not?
yeah. That's kind of just that's just doctor call. Yeah. There's not right or wrong there.
Yeah.
Right? It kind of just depends. I know Gordon Christian said if you have a bicuspid that's got cracks in both marginal ridges, that you should crown it. So that's what I use as a reference.
Well, what if one side's in the
It's up to you. Let's just take it. It's your. And again, I personally, I would probably leave those amalgams for now. I wouldn't replace them until I saw a problem with one of them. That's me.
But this is so telling, like already, like
Mm-hmm.
they'll be like, oh, yeah, they're not breaking down yet, but
Yeah,
this
but
is,
they're getting close. So in the
Yeah.
future, if you have to tell him, he's already seen these, right? They know, and a picture's worth 1,000 words. He goes home with this in his mind, not the nose hairs hanging out of the guy's nose, right? This is what they go home with. And when they walk up to the front, this is just so much more meaningful, right? This is how you should present and sell necessary dentistry.
Also, physical position changes, right? You're not facing each other
Yes.
anymore.
So initially, I'm
You're
sitting here eye to
together.
eye with Austin, and me and Austin are building relationships of trust, and I asked him about his goals, and he says, here's my goals, I want to keep my teeth long term. And I'm like, awesome, Austin, thanks for sharing that with me. Austin, I'm going to grab the camera, we're going to snap a few pictures of your teeth so I can show you what's going on today, or I can show you your teeth. I don't ask him if it's okay, I just tell him. Like, Amy, do you ask them if you can take an x-ray? Like a PA? You just, I'm going to take an x-ray. So that's what I do with the photos. It's the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and take some photos of your teeth for our records. And I just take the photos of his teeth. I put them up on the screen. And thank you, Lauren, for that, because this is important. You put them up on the screen, and now I'm going to stand here, and he's in the chair, but I'm an authoritative figure in his eyes. I'm an educator, right? So now there is a positioning thing that I kind of want. I want a little bit of confidence. A little bit of arrogance is good in this situation. Like Selena said, confidence is really important for patients. So there's a little arrogance that's good. Some of my doctors, I want to you need to be a little bit more arrogant. You need to be a little bit more confident, right? There's nothing wrong with confidence if you can deliver, right? So standing up and showing them the teeth. I'm now an educator. I'm building a lot of confidence and trust in being this healthcare provider because I'm a good educator, right? And so I want that position a little bit. That's intentional.
So do you do this before the cleaning or after, when they come in for a new, like as a new patient?
Before usually.
Okay, so if they
But not
need,
always. It just depends what's going on, what I'm doing, hygiene. Well, we'll have everybody in the office can grab these photos. I take them half the time. If they don't have them, I just grab the camera and I take them. I'll get an assistant. Hygiene, you guys will take them too. If you have an assistant that can help, you can take them. Everybody just kind of has to get them there. I love it when I walk in there and the photos are already done. And all I got to do is plug in the camera and start going through them. But if hygiene's been busy and they didn't have time, then they'll tell me, I got the photos or no, I don't got them yet, have them yet. I said, okay, let's grab the camera and this hygienist may help me do it. It takes us about 60 seconds to take those photos.
I'm just wondering if there's like tartar or inflammation.
It's good, you want them to see it.
You want it in there.
You want them to see it. So we'll take them usually before.
Do you take like pre and then post after?
I just want to get you guys to take all the pre's. It'll be, if you guys can just take them on every limited and every comp exam, I'm just happy if you can do that. It's hard to incorporate all of this. We don't want to do too much with you guys. If we want to do afters to show them what you did, great. But I just want to do it on every comp exam and every limited, right? That's what I really want to push for.
Will these be dumped onto their chart as well?
Nope. So we haven't figured that part out with Dentrix. There's not an easy way. We tried to do them on the network and to sync up with Dentrix. It was just a pain in the butt. So if you want to transfer them, you can. You have to export them and import them. If you want them in their chart, you can do it. But you have to. Somebody in the office has to go pull them off the camera onto the computer, label them, and then import them to each patient chart.
That's typically what we do already.
If you want to, in my offices, guys, I just have to be selective about where I want my efforts to go. We're very busy, right? And to me, that's just an unnecessary step. I only use these for the purpose of communication with the patients. Whether it ends up in their chart, I just don't care. I want the patient to have understood well what we've
So if the
tried to
patient
convey
wants
to
to go
them.
back and wants to look at that, then you have to go back into the camera.
Well, the camera. I mean, I just looked at it. They got like 580 pictures on there, right? But
Yeah.
we'll do a front. We'll just do a picture of Austin's face. Then we'll do an upper, a low. I mean, a straight on with his teeth, and then an upper and a lower.
I think
so
what
there's four
Raquel's
pictures.
asking is, you don't have it. If they say, can I see that picture from 6 months ago?
If
You
they
don't
want,
have
right, if you want to go
Not
back.
from 6 months ago, but if it was 2 weeks ago, we may jump through the camera and go, just go
well,
in a day.
that's my concern. Is a lot of patients get amnesia
Yeah.
after showing stuff. Like, oh wait, what?
So
So it's nice, that's
I'll
what
just,
we
I'll
do.
just,
Save
I
them
just,
on
I'll
the
just take,
computer?
I'll just take the pictures again.
Okay.
I think
Just
it's-
save them under the computer and their patient files.
It doesn't go into the computer though. It's only hooked to the TV.
But it has an SD card, right? At the end of the day, we can just upload
you want
all
to,
of them.
sure.
Yeah.
If you guys want to
So what then is
So if you're
uploading,
doing that,
importing
you want
these?
every single one, label them all.
Yeah.
Let's, if you guys can tackle that, go for it. I'm not gonna.
I don't
hear
like it
any, but-
because then I have a picture of the face of the patient because I can recognize
Yes,
the
they
face
put it
more
in
than
the
name.
chart.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I like
That's how you see them. As you jump through, you'll see a face, and then you'll see 3 pictures. A face, 3 pictures. Face, 3 pictures.
Wait,
so you can run through
Face,
them.
Like
smile, and then arch.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
we
you
can
can
put it
run
in
through
the
them
pictures.
and find for theirs, and that's a new
Pops
face.
up for appointment.
Yeah, so I can jump through and find their photos. I mean, I don't think we've ever deleted them. I just have to go back years on the camera. Right.
We'll go and grab it if we have time.
But again, but see this one here, guys. Can you guys see the cracks in that amalgam here? Right here and right here. So that one we did a build from print, right? We replaced it. So I mean, that's just what we did there.
What's going on that other bicuspid? It doesn't look
Yeah,
so hot.
we did. We crowned this one and this one too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So helpful for them to see that though.
In the context of all their teeth, right? They have to see them all. So this is my verbiage that I use for orthodontics all the time because I do comprehensive ortho, we do Invisalign, we do everything, right? So straight teeth are cleaner teeth. All 28 teeth were engineered to work together and provide normal function. Each bears its respective load and serves its specific purpose. Any missing tooth places excessive stress on the load and load on the remaining teeth beyond what they were designed to do. So if they're missing teeth, I'll have a conversation. Now they're all straight down here, they're crooked. Hygienists do crooked teeth, trap more tartar. Normal teeth, so your tongue and your lips brush your teeth hundreds of times a day. And when your teeth are straight, they're just naturally more cleansable through your normal oral function, right? And so crooked teeth just tend to trap those, right? And it doesn't seem like a big deal, but guaranteed that if you were to take a mouth that has crooked teeth, the plaque index is just going to be higher. They're going to have a higher bacterial count, right, with crooked teeth because they're just harder to clean. So over 50 years, does that make a difference? I think it does. So straight, again, if they want to be proactive and they want to prevent future problems and disease, it's all about function and load over time. All of them were engineered to fit like puzzle pieces, right? And when all the puzzle pieces line up and the stresses placed on the teeth are favorable, kind of like the alignment on your car, right? But if you start getting some of those that are leaned in or out of whack or they don't fit together like they should in the normal occlusion of the mouth, then they wear prematurely. They may get premature bone loss, things like that, right? They make fracture. So setting all the teeth up early on is important for long-term function as well. So I'm a big believer in orthodontics for that reason. It's prevention, right? So how about if someone comes into the office like this, is it okay just to clean their teeth and not talk to them about anything?
No, oh, the teeth are all really
Yeah.
drifting.
Can you see how the teeth, see that line that I threw across there? See if you miss a molar, can you tell that this molar's tipping over?
Yeah.
Right, that molar's tipping, this tooth is tipping a little bit, these have all come down. Look at the bone here. Okay, when you first took this tooth out, the bone would have been up in this area. Now it's all the way down here. This would be a tricky case to put an implant
Is
in.
there 2 premolars missing in that area?
No.
Looks like premolars and maybe even a molar. And that's
Oh, you mean here? Yeah, I don't know what's missing there.
That
A
looks
molar.
like a canine on the left.
Yeah, or a molar and 2 bites. Who knows what's missing there?
yeah, and that second molar's drifted easily or something.
Yeah. But see this tooth. What about the load that this tooth is undergoing?
A lot of stress.
A lot of stress. Its neighbors aren't there. There's supposed to be 2 big chewers back there. If you eventually, if this person's like 40 or 50, there's no way that molar will make it to 80. It just won't. It'll need an endo, it'll need a crown, and then the endo will probably fail, and then we'll extract it. It's just too much load over time and stress on the teeth. So the closer we mimic biology, the better off all the teeth are long term, right? So replacing missing teeth and educating on some of these things are important. So how do you talk to a patient about this? There's a lot of practices, I think, that they're just missing teeth and we just clean their teeth and send them and don't ever talk about the missing teeth. I always go back to their goals with the patients. Do you have a lot of patients that are missing teeth in here? That you guys don't talk too much about? Or do you guys talk to them about their missing teeth or
Yeah,
bring it up?
treatment plans for options.
The only thing is we were referring out for like implants and stuff like that.
Sure.
So a lot of people didn't want to go somewhere else or make an appointment to go see
Right.
someone else.
Right.
And they knew that it was going to be more money because it's a specialist.
Right. So I think once we're doing that in-house too, right?
I think that'll change.
That'll make a big difference for the patients. Yeah, nobody wants to go.
One-stop shop.
Right, that's what they like. Yeah.
Convenience.
Yeah, patients like that. So again, talking to them about the importance of those big chewers, bearing the load in the mouth, that's really important for patients to understand. I literally talk like that. I just say, you're supposed to have 2 big chewers kind of on each side here. We got one of them gone. So the rest of the load is being placed on these teeth here, the back one's there. And in short term, you get away with that. Get away with it for a while.
So
you're gonna have no wear.
Are you giving the patients option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4, or you're just giving them
Option
there's a
So there's a
partial,
principle. There's a
implant,
principle
bridge.
called taking them down the stairs. Okay, so it's another presentation, but it's about taking them down the stairs where you start off with the best treatment first, what's ideal for the patient. You talk to them. I would have a patient like this, and I'd say, Austin, these teeth are missing. I told them everything about it, and I said, Austin, I can put implants in here. I can just put a screw right down here in the bone, put a little implant in there, and I can give you a tooth there that'll feel and look just like an actual tooth. You'll be able to chew on and it'll take the stress off your adjacent teeth. It'll put you back biologically the way you're supposed to be. And if Austin says, cool, okay, great. Do you want me to have Raquel come in and go through that with you? She can give you some numbers and kind of help you more understand, what insurance will pay for, what your cost will be. If he says yes, then good. Now, if Raquel comes in there and she throws an $8,000 bill at him for 2 implants and grafts and crowns and abutments, And Austin's like, no, in hell, I can't pay for that. I'm not doing that. No way, right? I like my teeth, but now I really maybe don't want to keep them, right? Because I just saw the number. And that happens, right? So then Raquel will go back to the doctor here and be like, hey, doc, man, you can't do that. He's got $8,000. Raquel said, I already talked to him about Care Credit, right? You're going to say, hey, we have payment plans, Austin. I can run Care Credit for you. I can make this affordable for you, right? And if that fails and you can't get anywhere, then you say, rather than letting him go, you come back to me and say, hey, I need a plan B. He can't do the implants. We failed on the financing. There's just nothing there. What do we do? And now I have to talk to Raquel, and I got to go back in and say, hey, Austin, that's fine, buddy. It looks like you and Raquel tried to cover that. Maybe that's just not going to work for you. Let's talk about a plan B, right? And then I would talk to him about I'd probably talk to him about a precision attachment partial, but that's probably too much information for you guys at this point. Then I would just go to the next level, right? And I would say, okay, how about this? Or I might say, Austin, how about let's just do one implant at a time. That's actually what I would do next. I wouldn't go to partial. I'd say, Austin, long term, you want to keep your goals. Would you like to have the implants? And Austin says yes. I'd say, Austin, why don't we just start out with one? Do one now. Let's get one done this year. Let's place your implant. We can wait 6 months before we actually put the tooth on it. How about that? Can you just do the implant now? That's $2,000. 6 months later, we'll spend another $2,000 to give you your tooth. 6 months after that, we'll do the other implant. 6 months after that, so maybe it's a 2-year plan with Austin. And maybe we use Care Credit because they gave us $1,000, and we just do $1,000, he pays it off, we do another $1,000. Yep, right? That's what I would have done.
So they're charged per procedure then?
Yeah.
So you can split that
Yeah,
up.
sure. Yeah. Charge per procedure. So that way that's called taking them down the stairs. You start with the best treatment for them, and then too many options confuses patients. So you don't want to go to their doctors and say, you can have an implant, you can have this, you can have a partial. Because the patient's like, well, you're the doctor. I don't know what the hell I need. Imagine going to the oncologist, he says, well, you could cure this you could use radiation, you could use chemotherapy, or you could use the pellets. Whatever, which one do you want? And you're like, I don't know anything about any of this crap. Like, you're the doctor, you tell me what I'm supposed to do, right? Like, you don't think like that.
Would your next step, like before like the removal of prosthesis or anything like that, would you do a bridge? Do you recommend a bridge in that area? Or do you kind of leave
Not on that, because those are, other teeth look pretty good.
So,
I never want a bridge.
I know.
So it'd be like it's at the bottom. for
So
me.
look, I probably do a couple bridges a year. Do I do them? Yeah. But I'm like,
really do a lot of bridge work, kind of bridge.
Yeah.
but it's because he doesn't do implants. though.
I know,
Right.
It's his generation. Our dad was the same way.
It is
Tons of bridge
generational.
work.
Whatever. If all you have is a hammer,
Our
everything
dad
looks like
just
a nail.
retired
Yeah.
a few years
Right?
back.
You don't have a wrench. All you have is a hammer, so everything just looks like a nail. So that's all you have to work with, right? So honestly, I would say, if Austin came to me and said, can I just do a bridge? I'd say, Austin, dude, you can do a bridge. How old are you, man? Are you 35? How old are you? How old are you?
Oh, 30.
30. I mean, dude, you're way too young. Like, could I do a bridge? I could. But what I have to do, Austin, dude, I gotta rake these 2 teeth. I gotta shave this tooth.
You're not going to use that one. Ditch that word.
Okay?
Yeah.
I gotta have to destroy these
I have to
teeth.
damage
man.
these teeth.
I have to just shave these teeth down. He's laughing because I do say that. You gotta shave these teeth down, right? I gotta grind them down. And what I do is I condemn those teeth. I condemn those teeth to a life of retreatment. So Austin, I can do a bridge right now for you, but man, if your goals are to keep your teeth long term and you're only 30, and I gotta go shave these teeth down, statistics show us that this tooth in 7 years, 10% of these teeth will be gone.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
it's 2 implants could turn into 6.
Right. So yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
2 implants turn to 6 by the time you're 60 or 70. You just don't want to do that. So can I do it? I can, but it's not in your best interest.
And then most patients aren't compliant with flossing
I
under
know.
them.
Onto the bridge.
So what you would say,
There
what I
is
would
a-
recommend, Austin, let's just figure, if you want to keep your teeth and you want them, let's figure out a way to do it. I'm confident we can figure it out. Let's put the implant in. You can sit like that for a year. It doesn't matter. Once the implant's in there, you can hang out forever. It doesn't matter. And let's just put the implant in. You get that taken care of. And then when that's done, we'll come back and do the other implant. We just walk through it. Right? And that's how I would handle that with him. But I would not want to do a bridge. If he's 80, it's probably a different conversation. Maybe I'd do the bridge without pushing him as much. But if he's younger, I'm not gonna, no way. I'm not gonna, I probably wouldn't even do that. If he came into my office and said, I want you to do the bridge, I probably wouldn't even prep him to I'd have a hard time ethically even doing it.
Yeah.
So with, this is more of a procedural thing. If you do spin it out for 2 years, are you doing any sort of space maintenance?
No, because you don't have the prosthetic in there yet.
So you should be okay?
Yeah,
you
you
think?
could do a flipper or something if you wanted to. Depends on how long that's been there. If their occlusion's dialed in pretty solid there, how much is it gonna shift in the next couple years? Up to you. He's not gonna wear anything anyway though. If you give him a flipper, they're not gonna wear it.
Or if they have a retainer already, it looks like that person had ortho, right?
Sure, if they have a retainer, they
They
can wear a
still have
retainer. Great, cool, yeah, have them wear the retainer. Yeah. Or make them something like that to hold it, that's kind of up to you. Okay, so here we go, bridges, partials, and implants. We just talked about this. So here's different studies. 3 different studies I pulled here. So if you pull out a tooth and it's not replaced, over a 7-year period, 10% of adjacent teeth are lost. Okay? So if you do nothing, if you just pull the tooth out, pull out a molar like we just saw in that last picture, you do nothing, in 7 years, 10% of those teeth in those scenarios are gone. Okay? If you do a bridge, 19%, I'm sorry, it's 19. So 20% of adjacent teeth are lost if you do nothing. If a bridge is used, 10% of adjacent teeth were lost over 7 years. And if a partial is used, 30% of teeth were lost over 7 years. That was from the Journal of American Dental Association, okay? So you got 20% if you do nothing, 10% if you do a bridge, and 30% if you use a partial. So a partial is worse on the abutment teeth than doing nothing, correct? So that's not very good. Implants are by far the best solution. We've got a 1% adjacent tooth loss over 7 years. So it's not a 1%, but it went down from 10 or 20 or 30 now.
Are we gonna have like all this type of like?
Oh, I have this in a PDF. I have this whole thing in a PDF.
No, but for our patients.
This, no, the doctors just have to memorize it. I'll give it all to everybody and you guys can look at it. But if you want to give the patients, I don't care, print it, give it to what you want to. I just tell them this though. I just converse with them like this, right? I'll just tell them those kinds of things. I just talk about it a lot, so you just kind of know it. Anyway, so I just tell them don't do bridges because they're not in your best interest. If your goals are to keep your teeth. That's why I always go back to their goals. If he tells me I want to keep my teeth my whole life, and he's told me that, based on the principle of consistency, he's going to want to be consistent with that statement that he made to me as an authoritative figure and as a doctor. He's going to be embarrassed when a guy goes, well, I want a bridge. And I tell him that's not in your best interest. You only want to keep your teeth. The bridge is going to make you lose more teeth. He's not going to want to change his mind, right? Because he wants to be consistent. It's the same reason if you're a Democrat, you're just Democrat forever, Republican forever. We don't change our minds. We just dead set and we just continue with it, right? So here's a removable partial dentures and periodontal status. So here's what happens with removable partial dentures. Increased in periodontal pathology, increased plaque and tartar accumulation, increased gingival inflammation, increased probing depths, increased recession, increased abutment tooth mobility. They're okay, but they're sure not great compared to other alternatives, right? Is this just normal, or what can happen if it's left untreated? Not every time, but if we see wear like that, oftentimes it can go to that if we don't put them in a night guard, right? So hygiene, again, you guys are fluorides, sealants, prevention, and part of prevention is night guards. So if you see tooth wear, talk to them about night guards. So we do, if I see tooth wear on patients, we talk to them about putting in a night guard. But I'll ask them, will you wear it? Some of my patients will come back and they don't wear it, right?
Guilty.
I'm like, if you don't, I'll even say that, if you're not gonna wear it, then don't get it. But the best thing I can do for you, because you're grinding your teeth, you're 40 years old, your teeth look like they're 65, I gotta get something in here, otherwise I'm gonna be putting crowns on all these teeth in another 20 years. You don't want me doing that. So put something in there at night and grind on that and destroy that rather than your own teeth, right?
Are those top 2 crowns?
No.
8, 9?
No, this isn't my patient. This is just somewhere, maybe it is, I don't know actually. I can't remember where I pulled this from. But it's, again, I see too many offices, I see them there, right? And patients there in that situation, we don't do anything. We just think that's normal, it's okay, we won't put them in a night guard. Right, that happens everywhere, guys, all over the country. And
Well,
we
they
just-
have a mandibulatory there, shows that they're also
Yeah.
possibly clenchers as well.
So low, put in a night guard.
That'd be a nice idea to put a picture of what could happen to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes you can show that.
We do a lot of tricars though.
So let me tell you
We do
the
a lot
story.
of
Good.
Good.
So you guys are doing good on that front, right? So let me tell you a story here about this 85-year-old patient that came to see me. First, she came to see my partner, and my partner said, "You need a partial." She's 85. She's a lady. She's 85, and said, "You need a partial denture." So she came in to see me to take impressions for the partial denture, and I said, I just took photos of her teeth, and I talked to her. She's a nice lady, dresses nice, and I just said, "Do you want something that comes in and out of your mouth, or would you rather have something that fits like teeth that doesn't come in and out?" That's kind of the question I ask. To differentiate up front, I'll say, "Would you rather have something that comes in and out, or would you rather have something that stays in there like teeth?" And I'll say, "I want something that stays like teeth." There you've given them an option, right? And then you say, "Okay, well, here's what we can do." And I talked to her about some implants, right? And I said, "Well, we could put implants in your mouth and I could give you teeth and they'd fit like teeth." And she goes, "That'd be great." And I said, "What do you like to do in your spare time? What do old people like to go do?" They like to go gamble, and they like to go to bingo, and they like to go to dinner with their friends. They like to eat. And that's one of the few pleasures they have left in life, is to go eat with their friends. Right?
Or drink. Yes.
Like, right. Like the sex, drugs, and rock and roll is over with. Right? So all the good stuff. All the good stuff's gone by 85. So it's like, what do we do now, right? And they want to go out with their friends and they eat. They're just eating and enjoying meals together. That's an important part of what they do. And I asked her that. I said, "Do you do that?" Because I knew she'd say yes. And she said, "Yeah, I do." And I said, "So you probably rather something that fits like teeth. You don't want some food getting under it. You have to take it out and clean." And she goes, "No, it'd be a lot better." So I treatment planned for her 5 implants down there. 5 implants. And said, "Here's what we should do. We should put 5 teeth down here, and you'll have your teeth," right? She came back and saw my partner, bless his heart, and he said, "Oh, you could do it with 3 implants." She'd already said yes to 5 implants, already had a treatment plan, was already done, right? Already committed all the money. I mean, 5 implants there is $20,000, right? Am I nervous telling an 85-year-old that they should spend 20 grand on putting implants in their mouth? No. I think it's a quality of life issue. I would have no problem spending that kind of money on. She has plenty of money. She doesn't care. It's not money for her. She just wants to be able to eat and enjoy life. She doesn't care about 20 grand, right? She has enough from retirement. A lot of people at that age have plenty of money.
Clean those individual implants a lot better than a bridge.
So he says, "Oh, well, we can do it with 3. I don't know why. He felt bad for her. She was already done. And he, for whatever reason, totally undermined me and said, "You can just do it with 3. So she came back on the date of surgery with me to put in and said, "Oh, well, Dr. So-and-so said I can do 3. And I'm like, "I'm going to stab that dude." And so I freaking took her from a partial to 5 and then back to 3. And I'm like, "Oh, my word." And so, I had to go back and say, "Well, here's the problem with the bridge, and then you're going to have food stuck underneath it, and we need to just do individuals here, and they'll fit a lot better, and you'll get food stuck under them." And the stress placed on 3 versus on 5. And I just went through and had to re-educate her on the whole thing, and she chose 5. So I went back to 5. And yes, we did smaller implants. Those are all 3.5 millimeter implants because it was a small ridge. And I knew I'd have to give her small teeth because I didn't have a ton of width there. So we did multiple implants so that we could do bicuspids, because you can see the tissue profiles and the embrasure spaces. See how much better the embrasure spaces turn out when you don't have, because too often you have this big, right? And when you're doing a bunch of teeth side by side, you have these big triangles and food traps in there. And
They're like mesial distal cantilevers on those crowns.
Yeah, yeah. And they're annoying. And sometimes you can't get away with it in implants. You have to have a big enough implant to do it. With her, we just used enough of them and used little bicuspids, but you have to put in 5 implants. The solution is more implants and smaller teeth. That's the solution.
If the ridge is that thin.
Yeah. Right. Or even if you have a big you have to do more implants to make your teeth smaller. Right? The bigger your tooth, the more embrasure spaces you're going to have. But sometimes you're stuck with just whatever you can fit in there. That's just, there's no way around it sometimes. But anyway, but the biggest problem is that I see in dentistry with dentists is, do you believe that your services can benefit an 85-year-old lady, or do you feel guilty telling an 85-year-old lady that she should invest $20,000 into her mouth? That's the rub. That's the hard part for most dentists. Right. And so, again, she always has the choice, and I respect that. And she could have said no, and that would have been okay, and just made her partial. I'd have been fine if she said no. But now she comes in and she loves us. She's like one of our most loyal patients. She comes in all the time, she says, I love my teeth, I'm so glad I did it. And she's super happy. She got good value out of that. She doesn't at all feel like she was taken advantage of or anything. She appreciates the fact that we offered her the best care that we could, right? Now, not every patient's going to choose that, but if you don't have the conversations, none of them will. You don't even give them the opportunity to choose the best treatment, right?